What's up guys, Charles from TreeTanksDev, and in this video we're going to cover two topics. First of all, we got one YouTuber called Chad R. He actually requested for me to do a setup mounting the Sony A6500 with the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens with my iPhone on top of the phone holder on the camera on the DJI Ronin SC. So that's number one. Number two will also be another YouTuber request asking whether or not the Canon 200D can be used on the DJI Ronin SC with the Activetrack 3.0. So we're going to test that out, whether or not the Canon 200D, which is not a compatible camera, whether it still can use Activetrack 3.0. So let's get straight to the video. So I got it all set up at the moment. So you can see for the plates what I'm using, I am using the two screws with the camera riser. So this is just the normal setup, not the hack way of mounting. And also the lens support. If you are using a heavier camera or a bigger camera, which is really difficult to mount, you can check out my other videos on how to do a special kind of mounting to actually get it balanced on your DJI Ronin SC. So I'll leave that in the description. Get your camera set up. I have the ND filter on the front, so that is additional weight. I've removed the lens hood. Yeah, basically that's it. So this is the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens, and I'm using the iPhone XS as well. So let's get straight to the mounting. You should also get your cable out just in case you want to use the Ronin features and also the record button. Okay, so right now just unlock all the three axes as per normal. This will be a fast setup for this portion. If you want a step-by-step tutorial, you can check out my other videos. I have a lot of videos on different cameras and different lenses on how to set up your camera on the Ronin SC. So this video will be just about setting up your camera with the mobile phone on top of the camera. So get your Ronin ready. Okay, so for easier reference, as always, joystick will be facing myself. First of all, get your setup here and then just slide it on. Remember to loosen this marker here, loosen that, just slide it in. And for this setup, just to let you know in advance, the issue will be with the tilt axis, so which is this axis over here. Unlock the roll and the tilt axis and just try to find that sweet spot to get it to balance. So we're pushing it either forwards or backwards until something like that, whereby if you don't touch it, it still is horizontal, some sort horizontal. So once that's in place, use the marker to mark the position, and then you can tighten the screw at the bottom. Okay, so for this part over here, the phone is able to move back and forth slightly, but try to push it down as much as possible towards you. If it's a little bit back, that will actually affect the weight distribution. So try to get it forward like that and not backwards like that. So get it down. Okay, so once you got the horizontal balance on the tilt axis working, you can now move to the left and right. I've already got mine balanced. If yours is tilting too much to left or right, loosen the screw below again and shift your quick adjustment plate left or right until it balances. So once you got horizontal and also the tilt, the left and right settled, we can actually move on to the more difficult part, because the issue is that in order to balance the tilt axis, we need to put it vertical like that. But since your mobile phone is in the way and it's touching the roll axis, it's really difficult to know whether or not it is balanced, your tilt axis is balanced or not, because the mobile phone is resting on the roll axis. What I did is actually I loosened this tilt axis to screw, and I just let it sit all the way to the bottom like that right here. It was actually like this. I just loosened it and let it rest all the way to the bottom to make it front heavy. So once it's front heavy, you can slowly push your way up, push it up and up until it manages to balance but not resting on the pen axis. That's good enough for me. So just again push it all the way to the bottom, and then now it's front heavy. So just about 1 centimeter above the roll axis, just slowly push it up. It's still front heavy. Push it up again. There you go. I just pushed it up a little bit. It drops, but it's not touching the roll axis. You can see that it's actually bouncing like this. You can see that it's not touching. Even if I push it forward, it comes back. It bounces, but it doesn't touch. it's not resting on the roll axis. So this is how I did my balancing. So that is basically the important part that I wanted to share with you. The Sony A6500 is relatively small. In the next video, probably I will use the Canon EOS RP with the 24-105mm lens. That will be more of a challenge because it is bigger and heavier than the A6500. This should be good enough as long as it's not resting on the roll axis. It will be a good gauge for us to do some auto tuning in the Ronin app later on to solve the issues if it vibrates. So right now we got the tilt axis totally settled. So remember to tighten the screw once you see it balancing like that. Now, right now for the last axis, the pan axis. So the pan axis, this is what I like to do. It's really difficult to balance the pan axis because of the certain cameras are just naturally very difficult to balance the pan axis, especially for the A6500, which has a phone on top. So what I like to do is go back to original position. Normally we try and do a 45-degree turn like that, but it's really hard to do. So what I like to do is I will just try to tuck this arm in, and if it sits, that's good enough for me. So if it doesn't sit, if for example it falls backwards like this, then it's not balanced. So for me, just put it upwards. This arm over here, the joystick facing yourself, this arm over here, just put it in line with the pan axis, and if that stays, that's good enough for me. So if it's not balanced and I try to flip this arm over here in line with the pan axis arm, it will fall back. So for me, if it's correct, for example, just now I was at point number 2, I put it in line, it doesn't fall back, that's good enough for me for this setup in particular. Yep, so basically that's it. You managed to balance all three. It's not really the perfect way of balancing, but this is just how I do the balancing. You can try it out on your camera if you are having difficulties, especially with the tilt axis. Like I said, drop it all the way down and slowly push it up, make your way up. And then for the pan axis at the bottom here, for the 45-degree angle doesn't really work, especially when you have the phone holder. You can try every single marking on your pan axis and you probably won't be able to get it to work. So for me, what I did is I just tucked this arm in line. If I show you from this direction, you can see it's like that. Push it down in line with the pan axis, and if it doesn't fall, rotate backwards to its original position, then it is not balanced in this manner whereby it doesn't move. To me, that is a win for me. So we're gonna plug in the cable right now. Remember, for the cable, this 90-degree angle USB Type-C, this goes into the Ronin SE, and for the straight USB Type-C, the straight part goes into the camera itself. You can open up your DJI Ronin app on your phone first. Now you can power on your Ronin SE first before powering on your camera. Power on the Ronin, then power on the camera. To test out if the cable is working, just press the record button. If it works, means the cable is connected correctly. If it doesn't work, you need to power off your camera, power off your DJI Ronin SE, and then power back the Ronin SE first, then power on your camera. Okay, so you can see that it works. The record button works, so it is properly connected in the correct manner. So we're going to test out whether or not the way I set this up is able to take it. So more importantly is the tilt axis, so tilt up and down and see if there's any vibrations or issues. Tilt it up and down. Okay, if yours starts vibrating, all you need to do, don't panic, let it vibrate, do not turn it off. Immediately if it starts vibrating, go into your Ronin app on your phone, press motor parameters, and immediately hit the auto tune button. And the vibrations should stop. This auto tune feature is really good. I use it a lot, especially for me when I'm doing a lot of tutorials on different cameras and different weights and lenses and stuff. I always, for every new setup, I hit the auto tune button to get the motors accustomed to the weight of your setup. Okay, so that's all done. So right now we can actually do some testing out again. And if previously it was vibrating, right now after doing the auto tune, it shouldn't vibrate anymore. So basically guys, that's it. This is how I set up my camera with the phone on the phone holder on the DJI Ronin SC. So for the second part of the video is also user requested. A lot of you guys who are using the Canon 200D is asking whether or not the Canon 200D can use Activetrack. We all know it's not compatible because of port is the mini USB port on the camera instead of the micro USB port. But still, whether or not the Activetrack needs your camera to be compatible or needs to be wired up to the DJI Ronin SC. So a lot of you guys have been asking whether or not the Canon 200D, which is not a compatible camera, whether or not you can still use Activetrack on the DJI Ronin SC. So I'm gonna show you that right now. I'm just gonna do the mounting. So right now I'm doing the auto tuning. I've got it set up, the 200D with the 10 to 18mm f4 lens. I've got the gimbal, the Ronin SC powered on, as well as my camera, as you can see. And right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna test out if Activetrack can work with the Ronin SC. You can see that there's no cables attached. It's not on the compatibility list of the Ronin SC, and even if they wanted to make it compatible, there is no micro USB port on the 200D for the Ronin SC to connect to your 200D. And for those of you guys who are saying that you can use a micro USB to mini USB converter, I have tried that as well and it doesn't work. So right now we're gonna go to create, connect to the Ronin SC. We're gonna go to create and pray that Activetrack can work on this 200D. The only thing is that because it is not connected, you will need to press the record button on the camera itself. Instead, if it's connected via the cable, you can press the record button on the Ronin SC. Because there's no cable, you need to manually press on the camera. So right now I'm in Activetrack, and I'm gonna press the record button on the camera right now. I've got all the axes unlocked. Okay, so hope you can see that. Right now I'm in Activetrack mode. I'm gonna put my hand in front of my mobile phone and I'm gonna draw. Okay, I'm recording on the 200D, as you can see. If I press the record button, it won't work, but oh, it does work. What? Alright guys, so pretty cool. Subject lost. Okay, let's start that one more time. The thing is that you can see it on my mobile phone, but on the camera you cannot see this because my hand is too near. Okay, so I'm gonna try and stand a little bit further. I'm gonna use this camera right here. Okay, it's still recording on the 200D. Good news is that the Activetrack 3.0 does work on the 200D, or basically we can sum up that the Activetrack will work on any camera, whether or not compatible or not compatible, which is absolutely fantastic. Too bad I don't have another human subject for me to test out. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video on the Sony A6500 with the phone holder mount and also the Canon 200D with the Activetrack 3.0. I will be coming up with more videos, so please remember to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notifications button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.